I was thinking about how you might have an interesting perspective on our situation
What
because
you got?
most of us in the CrossFit gym, I mean, we're just working in a gym environment all the time, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden now we have like a different season. We have an off season that we're
yeah,
not
yeah.
used to. And I was thinking, in your experience, you maybe that's what it feels like a little bit, kind of like a regular season and then like an off season.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, how do you maintain your motivation and everything else during the off season so that you're ready
Mm.
when you get into the more intense, uh, I guess I'm calling it season or time of
Yeah,
training?
yeah. That's a
Is it?
great question, man. And that's something I spent a whole career trying to figure out and learn from the Larry Fitzgeralds, the Kurt Warners, Drew Breeses, and coming up with a routine. The first thing was evaluating the past season, um, and
Mm,
so building an off season based off of the the previous season,
yeah.
right? So taking an evaluation of, man, the off season really gives me a chance to regroup, not just my body, right? Like I got to put my
Right.
body back together and find out. I can't just jump right into. I think early on in my career, I wanted to just jump right into training, or to jump right into the next opportunity. But taking the time to see the doctors, the therapists, the chiropractors, get images. What were the repercussions from last year, right? Were there any like injuries? Were there,
Right.
whatever it was, but taking inventory of what I did. How can I jump into something else when I don't even know how it impacted my body? Um, and so knowing exactly, hey, there's some inflammation in my knee or my shoulders or this, okay, that's going to determine how I build an off-season program. That makes sense,
Oh yeah,
right?
totally, totally.
Um, and
I've
so
actually
that
heard
became,
I've heard a lot of discussions about that, where a lot of the higher up CrossFit trainers, they put a lot of information out there saying, yeah, take your time, work on your mobility, your flexibility, things
correct.
like that while you're at home.
I mean,
And
it's stuff that people don't want to hear, right? It's stuff that you don't want to hear it, and but here's the thing, though, it's going to come back to get you, because if I don't take the time and address those sore spots, right, and I
right,
jump into a season, guess what? Now that's where the injuries, and that's where the careers are shortened. For
mm,
me, being around the guys who had longevity, and not just the one hit wonders, but the longevity, all of our bodies, everyone's going to get run down in business, in
right,
relationships, in sports. But it's those guys who are able to, and girls in different respective sports and industries, who are able, they have a plan. They understand, like, right, they evaluate. I remember Drew Brees, I would watch him over the off season. And the first thing he did when we started OTAs, I would come in there every single day. And most guys weren't studying. We were just starting off-season workouts. Most guys weren't watching a lot of film at that time. That
huh,
was more of starting to get your body back together. But he was watching all the past 3 Super Bowls, and he would watch every single game, and he would like take detailed notes, and then he would meet with his trainer, and they would come up with a training plan based off of all the flaws and all the things. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And so
yeah,
around those, taking that approach, to where I can now go into a season with confidence, because I know that I've addressed those issues, right? I've each season I've gotten a little
yeah,
bit better, because I've gotten better because, the maturity, the wisdom, the age, the experience, but then I've also now started to kind of build upon some of those areas that may have been problematic in the past. So I got to respect those. If I have a long-term vision, I got to respect those small steps, and take an evaluation, if that makes sense.
it really does, because we've encouraged a lot of our members to stick to. We use a website called Beyond the Whiteboard. It's also an app,
Okay.
and that's where
Okay.
it shows all our workouts every day. But that's also where we track all the weights that we lift, how fast you ran. We
Okay.
track everything that we do in there,
Oh,
and we've
wow.
really been encouraging our members hard, stick to that routine. To when you
Yeah.
have a workout, log it in, no matter what it is, so that you can constantly track all that information.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't have any film.
Well, you have. I mean, here's the thing, though. But here's the thing that everyone should have, because here's the thing, that the off season at first, as a young guy, in training camp, it was hard because during the season you had, and this may be like during some type of competition or if you're getting ready, you're competing somehow, you have something to work towards, right?
Right.
So you have that Sunday. So Monday is a lot easier when you have Sunday because you're Tuesday and then Wednesday, you're one day closer to Sunday. So all of the meetings, the film, the massages and chiropractor and the lifts and all the monotonous, routine, boring things, people see Sunday as fun. The 6 days before Sunday is a grind. Let me just tell you, it's a grind. It's a nonstop grind, mental, physically, but you can deal with it because you know the reward on Sunday. But now when you're in the whole off season, you don't have that Sunday reward. And so It's like getting up at 5 a.m, going to the track, and then getting your recovery, and then going to the chiropractor, and then getting your rest, and then eating again, and then going back to get your lift in, and then going to get stretched, and then going to get IVs, and then doing that every single day. It's like, okay, right? It gets real boring. It's those things, but it's everyone. And getting back to my point, that should all be based off of what is the big picture, right? And so I have to have. That's why those off-season goals are so important, because I got to build a routine based off of what's my big picture. Okay, my off-season goals this off-season. Okay, after watching film, I'm starting to pick up some patterns, right? Maybe it's my mobility, maybe it's my explosiveness, maybe it's the ball security. I had my my second and third season, I had 6 fumbles. 4 was on the ground 1 year, 5. I'm not going to have a job in the NFL long if I keep putting the ball on the ground. So I have to respect, I can want to bench and squat and do all these things. I better figure out how to put ball security into my training regimen. Right. But that's all based off of my big picture. What is that big picture? And so the offseason allows you to review and to study and to create a game plan based off of what is the big picture, what is the vision, and then from there, how can I work backwards and start to create a plan? Okay, today I'm working on my mobility. It may not be sexy, but I'm working on my mobility. Okay, today I'm just doing balance drills where I'm just holding this ball right here, right? And so I'm creating a schedule, a routine based off of that big picture. That makes sense.
Oh, it makes total sense. And actually, it reminds me of every once in a while I have to go in and I'll coach in the morning. I'm not usually there in the early morning, but sometimes I'm in there with the 5 a.m. class. They're a special group. Like there's Colin and Ryan and Danny and a few other guys.
You got to wonder if you're in there at that time.
They are always there, and they are always on fire. I mean, they might be half asleep, but they're putting in their time, the dedication.
Right. I love it.
Sometimes I wish everybody in the gym could at least show up at 5 a.m. once. Yeah. Because it is all up there.
It is.
I had another question. So when you guys have an off season, is there periods of time where you're working out alone versus with a team? Because right now, that's what it feels like for us. Like we're all working out at home.
Yeah. That's to me, and being honest, to me, I was a guy who liked to work out by myself anyway. And so that wasn't as much of a challenge. Though I will say it was beneficial when I had somebody who was pushing me. Sometimes there were just a lot of distractions where you got guys who they like to joke and laugh, and that's a great thing because that's part of their makeup. And I think if I'm honest, a part of me envied those guys a little bit because I'm like, man, they could be productive, but yet also have a good time and form bonds. And a part of me wish I had that. I was so training, I had to be locked in. And sometimes there was a bit of a grind. So you did have that period where, man, you're there. It's you and your trainer, or it's you by yourself, and you really got to be accountable. And that's why having a trainer or being accountable to a trainer, or having having a goal or something with somebody else, right? Yeah. So I know my buddy, and I still do this today. Some of my college buddies who are a big reason that I even got to the NFL, that we pushed each other so much. We're holding each other accountable about this marathon. I hate running distances.
Oh yeah, I saw that online that you're gonna run it. Right?
Exactly, man. So this is something that I started training, then I stopped. Then I started, then I stopped. I wanted to train, do my sprints and sleds. And he reminded me the other day, and I'm like, I can't let this guy down. Now, if he's going to be ready for it, I'm not going to allow him to be prepared, and I'm not, because I'm not going to, I have a special bond with these guys, and that's more, to let them down is more important, right? So
Right, absolutely.
During those periods where you're by yourself, it's either some type of coach, right, holding me accountable, who knows my goals, and or another teammate or somebody who, like, I know when I see them again, I know they're gonna be working, and so I better make sure that I'm equally as prepared, so I can deliver.
We have that online a little bit within social media. Some of our coaches are holding the gym, all the members accountable. They're doing a good job.
Sure. Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to hear it, but right now it's all fun too. I mean, it's gonna get real quick.
Yeah.
Well, wow, that's pretty interesting. I was wondering if those things that I was thinking about with seasons and training with the team, what you would say. And that was awesome, because that was exactly what I was hoping for. Well, I'll tell you what, I met you through DoTERRA.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe before we go, I just got to ask you, so what's your favorite product or two from DoTERRA that you use for training?
Man, there's so many. And the more I learn, the more I use it. I think that's with anything, right? When you understand, there's something I've been reading up really on the peppermint and rosemary combination and what that does for concentration, focus, and just increased awareness. That before you study, before you work out,
Right.
Motivate I've been blending Motivate while I work now at home, or been blending passion to motivate when I'm exercising now. I didn't do that while I was playing. We used to. I don't know if you see those smelling salts, that they rate.
Yeah.
And so we used to do those, guys. I mean, if you've ever been in a baseball in a dugout, you see all the sunflower seeds. Well, if you go on a football sideline, you see those smelling salts. They look like sunflower seeds. They look like sunflower seeds on the sideline.
I have seen it.
Okay, so you've seen that. So you know what I'm talking about.
I've seen it.
But for me, so the first time I did this peppermint rosemary, there was another one. When I found out about it and read the studies behind it, I put a lot on my hands, because, of course, football players, we're going to do everything extreme. If we find out there's like an ounce of benefit, we go extreme. And so I put a whole bunch, and it took me back in the same way that stuff did. And I'm like, wow, I knew there was harmful chemicals in the other, the smelling, whatever you call those things. Yeah. But if I would have known this, so that long story was to say, the more and more I learn about the research behind this doTERRA stuff and the essential oils. So that's definitely one pre-workout. I'm really big on post-workout because a lot of people focus on the workout. In my sport, Edgerrin James was a huge mentor of mine, and he told me from day one, he told me to invest in recovery, because there's always going to be somebody bigger, stronger, faster than you, but everybody can't recover. Oh, right? Wow. Everyone, it's almost with 100% certainty that you're going to get injured at some point. And so if I run a 4.7 where you run a 4.4, but I run my 4.7 every single day, where you go 4.4 and then 4.6 and then 5.0, and then at the end of the day, I'm going to be more productive than you.
Right.
And so he told me to invest in my recovery. So the massages, the stretching, the sleep. So for me, taking Epsom salt baths, deep blue, frankincense, serenity, doing all those things, Epsom salt bath, 15 minutes at night, elevating my feet up against the wall 15 minutes, reducing that inflammation, that lactic acid, turmeric, copaiba. Those types of things are important, huge for me. And that's really where I found the difference for me with doTERRA and utilizing my products. But the more as I learn more, I would love to hear your. In the morning, I'm doing grapefruit, tangerine, grapefruit, lemon, chia water, warm water, about 32 to 40 ounces on an empty stomach, just to reduce whatever inflammation, toxins are in my body, and lime as well. So I'm learning all these different protocols and starting to implement them. But I would love to hear, man, what is it that you're using, man? How are you taking them?
So usually when Susie and I are going to the gym, either on our way or when we get there, we have peppermint or spearmint in our water, because just drinking it, you can feel it right away. You breathe better. You feel like
Okay.
better. And we've also started putting lemon in our smoothies, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
doesn't sound like a lot because it's only a couple drops,
Okay.
but man, you start to really feel it after a while. And I'm very regular on the omegas, the supplements. I did start using the Deep Blue Rub with a sidekick tool, one of those scraping tools.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just rub it in, and then it's
Yeah.
like a massage, but you're really working through your muscles.
Yeah.
And man, has that taught me a lot about where I'm at. I mean, I really feel knots and stuff like that I didn't even know were there before.
I love it.
Yeah, that's a lifelong education right there, right? Or lifelong.
I'm telling you, man. Funny story about my, I won't hold you guys long, but funny story about that Deep Blue. So my massage therapist, I had the same one since 2008. 10 years in, she was the same one. She's worked on guys and people from all across the NFL. She's still, working on guys and referred to a lot of people. And so she's treating, 6, 7, 8 guys a day, right? No matter what city I've gone, she's coming in,
Wow.
Eventually guys will be like, oh, well, I want to work with her too. And so, she'll just be back to back to back to back to back to back.
Right.
And I had her, when I started my last 2 years in New Orleans, I had her using my DoTERRA stuff. So she would use DoTERRA, and then I'll have her put a few oils. And I didn't really know as much what I was doing. I was just kind of just getting some feedback from people. My wife would do a little bit of research online. Well, she was noticing that her hands were feeling better. She's working on these big linemen. She's working, her elbows. They would feel better after using it. And so one day, my stuff was missing, my bottles. And come to find out, she had taken them and was using them on other guys. And I'm like, wait a minute, you can use them on my teammates, but not on the other competition.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
I ended up just sending her, getting the big bottle for her to use. So it was interesting because it was helping us recover, but it was helping her recover from the different massages. So she could feel her hands and tingling and the soreness in her elbows. She would put on her elbows and she would work so she could feel it. So I'm like, I know there's something to it.
That is a great story. In fact, my wife was a massage therapist, and I have a similar story. I'll share that with you another time, though.
Okay, cool.
But thank you again so much for being online with us, because I know you're busy. You're in the middle of the country, and we're over here in Florida.
Yes.
But that was a very cool conversation. In fact, I got to sit here and digest it on.
Oh man, I love it. I look forward to. Please let me know how the progress is going, and I look forward to seeing everyone's results. And hey, stick to. I'll leave you with this. I thought about this the other day. I remember, if I can leave with a story, I remember when I was 3 years out of the NFL, and one of my college teammates, it was towards the end of the season, and I'm still working out. I'm going to get back. And one of my college teammates called me at the end of the season and said, are you still working out? And I said, absolutely, I'm still working out. He said, they're not going to sign us. And I said, if you're not ready whenever they call us, we may never get that opportunity again. And he's like, whatever. They called me the next week. And here's the thing. Everything in me wanted to trip out, right? And I feel like, okay, all of a sudden now you get this opportunity. You want to start doing this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But the idea was, Tim, you're prepared. Trust your preparation. In the middle of something, it's not time to switch something up. In the middle of it, it's not time to switch up something. It's a matter of trusting your routine. And so trusting the routine, trusting the process. And so I would just encourage anybody, that time is coming. We all have to make adjustments based off of where we are now, right? But the time where we get out of this will be here. And this time will seem like a blur. I know it's impacted all of us differently. But it's this routine that you're developing, getting a chance to revisit your routine, to adjust your routine, but taking care of your body. It's more important than just your body. It's your mind, for your career, for your family. To me, that's what I feel like exercise is. But figuring out how you can create a routine, because whenever you have opportunities, if you haven't created these routines, you won't be prepared to take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves when they come. So stay ready, stay motivated, stay focused. If I can be of a support, please let me know. I'm DoTERRA family through and through. And so, man, I appreciate it. But thanks for having me.
Oh, no, thank you very much. All right. Take care, Tim.
All right. Have a good one.
That was awesome.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
All right, guys. That was Tim Hightower, former NFL running back, DoTERRA performance advocate. I am Peter Bagwell. coach and manager at CrossFit Estero, also a doTERRA wellness advocate, if you couldn't tell. And thanks for joining in with us.